What if the biggest transformation of your life didn't come from a big decision, but from something so small you almost ignore it every day? Today, you'll hear a story that reveals the silent power of small actions. Ayan was an ordinary young man, neither rich nor particularly talented, just normal. Yet inside him, a heavy feeling lingered, a constant whisper in his heart. My life is not moving. I want to change, but I don't know how. He had tried many times to improve himself in big ways. He woke up early, spent hours at the gym, pushed himself through long study sessions, hoping that somehow the effort would pay off. But each attempt lasted only a few days before he gave up. With every failure, disappointment weighed heavier on him, until he began to believe that perhaps success was simply not meant for people like him. One evening, after yet another failed attempt, he sat alone in his small, dimly lit room, staring blankly at the wall. Fatigue and self-doubt had left him feeling small, lost, and defeated. His grandfather, noticing his struggle, quietly entered the room and placed a single grain of rice into Ayan's hand. Confused, Ayan looked down. "It's just one grain. It means nothing," he said. His grandfather smiled gently, a calm warmth in his eyes. "And that, Ayan, is the lesson you are missing," he replied. Taking a small bowl, he dropped the grain inside. 1 grain, then 2, then 10. At first, the bowl seemed almost empty, but as more grains were added, it slowly began to fill. Looking at the growing pile, his grandfather said softly, "Life doesn't change with one big move. It changes with small things, repeated every day. Tiny habits shape your future silently." Those words sank deep into Ayan's mind, planting a seed he would soon realize had the power to transform his life. The next morning, Ayan decided not to overwhelm himself with huge goals or impossible routines. Instead, he chose to start small, something anyone could do. He did 1 push-up, read 1 page of a book, and wrote 1 sentence in his journal. That was it. No pressure, no expectation of immediate results. Just 1 small habit each day. The first week passed without any noticeable change. The second week came and went, and still nothing seemed different. Yet quietly, something powerful was taking root inside him. Each day he repeated his tiny actions, he was becoming consistent. Each small accomplishment gave him a subtle sense of pride. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, he was becoming a new person. 1 push-up grew into 5. 1 page of reading became 2 chapters. 1 sentence in his journal blossomed into deep, reflective thoughts. His habits, tiny as they seemed, were reshaping his identity, rewiring the way he thought about himself and what he could achieve. And then one day he realized something remarkable. I am no longer the same person. I am growing every single day. With that understanding came a newfound strength, confidence, and energy he had never felt before. The sense of small, consistent effort transforming into real change filled him with awe. It dawned on him that human transformation is not like an explosion, sudden and loud. It is more like a slow sunrise. Quiet at first, almost unnoticed, but gradually brightening the sky until one day, your entire life seems illuminated. Ayan had learned that true growth doesn't come from a single heroic act. It comes from the patient accumulation of tiny steps, repeated day after day, until the person you once were is replaced by someone stronger, wiser, and truly alive. One warm afternoon, as the golden sunlight streamed softly through the window, Ayan's grandfather called him over and posed a question that would forever change the way he thought about growth and patience. "Ayan," he said, "if I offer you $1 million today, or 1 single penny that doubles every day for a month, which will you choose?" Ayan paused, thinking carefully. At first, the $1 million seemed irresistible. Instant wealth, immediate results. But then he remembered all the lessons he had learned about patience, consistency, and the hidden power of small, repeated actions. He smiled, a quiet confidence in his eyes, and replied, "I'll take the penny, because I now understand compounding." His grandfather's eyes twinkled with approval. He began to explain. That penny, tiny as it seems, doubles each day. One day it is 2, then 4, then 8. At first it feels like nothing is happening, and many would dismiss it as useless. But the magic happens silently, invisibly, until suddenly everything multiplies beyond imagination. Ayan visualized it in his mind, 1 to 2 to 4 to 8, and on it went. Day after day, the penny quietly grew, unnoticed by anyone who wasn't paying attention. And by day 30, that tiny, insignificant coin had become $5.3 million. The sheer scale of growth astonished him. What had once seemed trivial now held unimaginable value. He finally understood a truth that many overlook. The most powerful forces in life often work quietly, invisibly, through consistent effort over time. Small actions repeated faithfully, even those that feel meaningless today, have the potential to create extraordinary results tomorrow. The penny was more than money. It was a symbol of the principles that were now shaping his life: patience, consistency, and faith in gradual growth. Ayan realized that human transformation worked exactly in the same way. The small push-ups, the single page of reading, the one sentence in his journal, each tiny effort might seem unimportant on its own, but repeated every day could multiply into a life entirely changed. The power of small growth is invisible at first, almost imperceptible, but if you trust it, it becomes nothing short of unbelievable. Ayan realized something that would change his perspective forever. Most people fail not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they crave instant results. They want everything immediately. They want comfort, pleasure, and recognition today. And in chasing these fleeting satisfactions, they sacrifice their future. They skip the hard, small work that doesn't give immediate payoff, thinking it's insignificant, and wonder why their lives never change. But the truth is simple. Those who achieve greatness do the exact opposite. They embrace small effort, repeated consistently over time, knowing that each tiny action compounds, quietly, invisibly, until it becomes extraordinary. They choose patience over instant gratification, discipline over ease, and persistence over comfort. And when Ayan truly understood this, something inside him shifted. He no longer judged his progress by immediate results, nor did he allow setbacks to discourage him. Instead, he focused on the small actions he could control, repeated daily, knowing that the slow, steady accumulation of effort would one day deliver transformation. Months passed, and Ayan's life began to reflect the changes within him. People around him were shocked by his new discipline, his calm confidence, and his unwavering focus. Friends and colleagues asked him repeatedly, "Ayan, what's your secret? How did you become so consistent, so disciplined?" And every time he smiled and answered simply, "Small habits, every day. Not motivation, not magic, not talent. Just consistency. Just the quiet accumulation of small steps. Each push-up, each page read, each line written was a thread woven into the fabric of his new identity. He didn't become a new person in one day, but slowly, day by day, he transformed. Unstoppably, beautifully, imperceptibly at first, yet unmistakable in the long run. The 1% improvements repeated daily had added up to profound change, proving that real transformation is never sudden. It is gradual, deliberate, and cumulative. From this journey, Ayan learned a lesson that everyone can carry into their own lives. Your life does not change in one dramatic moment. It changes through the tiny decisions you make consistently every day. Small habits shape your identity. A strong identity leads to meaningful actions, and consistent meaningful actions inevitably create results that redefine your life. If you want to change your life, waiting for a miracle or a moment of inspiration is futile. Transformation starts with a single, small habit today. One step, one page, one sentence, one choice repeated daily builds momentum that becomes unstoppable over time.